Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Power Women Hour. I'm Donna Hagigat, CEO of the Women's Fund of Western Massachusetts, and we're excited to bring you yet another in this wonderful series. The series is sponsored by the Jamrog Group, and additional funding support comes from the Institute for Generative Leadership. This month, we're going to spice things up by meeting Amy McMahan of Mesa Verde Restaurant in Greenfield. Tune in to find out how she spiced up the Greenfield community.
My name's Amy McMahan. I'm the owner of Mesa Verde. It's an 18-year-old restaurant in downtown Greenfield. We serve burritos and a variety of Mexican-inspired American food. I was born in Saigon, Vietnam. My parents met during the Vietnam War. My father was with the Department of State, so we moved around a lot. We lived in Thailand, we lived in Ecuador. I grew up outside of DC and when we weren't traveling, and then went to college in Connecticut, and then moved to Provincetown and kind of gravitated out to Western Mass because it was just more affordable. I was thinking about going back to school. I got a job in Greenfield at the co-op in 1996, and I just loved the Greenfield vibe. Like it kind of is gritty, it's very affordable, people are very down to earth, and I just really loved how you could move here and just become a part of this community. The restaurant is really, in some senses, a community center because so many people come through here, and on any given day you'll see the police chief, the chair of the school committee, the mayor's chief of staff, any number of people who are working hard to make this community a great place to live, and there's a lot of interaction that happens. I graduated from college. I worked in a restaurant in Provincetown washing dishes, and there was just something about restaurants where you could be yourself. And for me, that was the first time I'd worked in a kitchen where everybody was gay. So it was kind of like redoing high school, but there was 27 people working there who were gay and 3 were straight. So it was we were the majority. And I think there was a camaraderie and an authenticity that I really just gelled with. I think I'd been working in other people's restaurants for, 10 years, and I didn't think I was going to get the opportunity to, exhibit my leadership skills for whatever reason. So I felt like in order to spread my wings and fly in the way that I wanted to, I was going to have to open my own place. Because I did come from exposure to so many different cultures, I know the importance of culture, so I create a culture of inclusivity and authenticity, and we certainly have our differences, but we treat each other with respect, and I'm not a I told you so type leader. I'm more of a okay guys, how are we doing this? What's your idea? What's your idea? Okay, what do you think? Can we do this? And so I try to create more of a collaborative approach to how we do this. And then during the pandemic, I think there were a lot of places that couldn't stay open. It was not a time when top-down management was going to work. So we really banded together, and I was just incredibly fortunate that most of my employees could have been making more money on unemployment, but they chose to be a part of, saving this place and be a part of be a community service. People came in here during the pandemic and said, this is the only thing that I'm doing that feels like before the pandemic. I'm coming in here every Tuesday and getting takeout. And being able to give people some normalcy, and that people were able to sit at the bar, whether it's got little plexiglass pods, but have a drink and feel like there's one thing that's tethering them to familiarity. That felt very important to us. And so, from the day we closed the dining room, but just kept doing takeout, we just kept focusing on this. It felt like we were holding up a torch, and it was important, and we needed to do it. We were doing community meals at the Salvation Army and collaborating with Meals on Wheels, and it really wasn't about what are we doing today to make money. It was about, well, what is our role in this community? Why is what we do important, and why do we have to keep doing this? And it's not just food, right? It's energy. So people are coming in here for energy and they get a side of food. And so I think watching a lot of people plug into our desire to be here and to serve people was so important on both ends, and it was an exchange that was important to us, and I know it was important to them. So I think the entire restaurant business is going to change as a result of the pandemic, and I think in some ways for the better. I created this place because it's the American food that my mother and my father could eat. Like, my mom was lactose intolerant. She grew up in, you know, a Southeast Asian country near the ocean. So when she came to this country, she couldn't eat so many things. But this is the American food that both my mom and my dad would enjoy. At this point in time, I'm really more focused on the fact that food was my mother's way of teaching us about where she was from. So she would make food that would transport us, you know, 10,000 miles away, and that is really what food is the power of the food that I'm really focused on right now. So as I could not travel during this last year, I realized that, you know, I've been trying to get to Italy like two to three times a year, and like, what was it that I missed? Like, could I recreate it? And my obsession, as we were talking about with creating Neapolitan pizza, is, you know, like, can you give people this experience where they can close their eyes and pretend they're in Naples? Is kind of where I'm super focused right now. So I think that that's probably my next venture. But I think, you know, the power of food has definitely been, you know, revealed to us during this pandemic, watching so many people pick up better skills of baking and cooking and, you know, being about the experience of sitting down with their families and like recreating things. Like, what is it we're using food to do? Like, what is it to create community? Is it to communicate about the past? Is it about transporting ourselves to another place? Like, it's just an incredible medium. Yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook. We have a website. It's www.mesaverdegreenfield.com. We're at 10 Fisk Avenue, downtown Greenfield. And, you know, this is going to be a great summer for Franklin County. Treehouse is moving into South Deerfield. You know, there's a bunch of places to go for really great vintage shopping downtown. And we're starting to see people come out for the breweries and to see if they can like tour the grow facilities. Like, you know, there's a lot of fun, cool things happening in Franklin County, and Greenfield is the county seat, so we're seeing a lot of more destination, you know, tourists for this area than we ever have, and I think that this year is going to be better than ever.